Greetings, all! Today, we'll be examining the exceptionally rare Fire-type Pokemon Torchic, the Chick Pokémon, its equally rare Fire-Fighting-type evolution Combusken, the Young Fowl Pokémon, and its equally rare final evolution Blaziken, the Blaze Pokémon. Cute as they may be at a young age, the members of the Torchic family are feisty birds that can really bring the heat to others when they step up to the plate.
Torchic have small bodies with a rounded torso and head covered in orange feathers, with sprigs of lighter yellow feathers around their neck and as a crest on the top back of their head. They have a small yellow beak, large grayish-black eyes, a single pair of light yellow four-toed clawed feet, 3 toes to the front and 1 on the back for stability, with males additionally having a small black spike of flesh on the back of their torso. Their evolved form, Combusken, have a far more humanoid form to them, with orange plumage covering their lower body and a 3-part sprig of a crest on the top back of their head, with large white claws in each of their 3 fingers, as well as the talons, their feet having turned a grey color. Their beak is also turned a dark orange color to stand out from the light yellow feathers that cover the upper torso and arms, as do their bright orange eyes. Their final evolution, Blaziken, retain a humanoid-like form, but have dark red feathers covering most of their upper legs and torso, with yellow feathers on the lower legs and chest, their hands having transformed to resemble the feet of Combusken more, with sharp black talons on each of their fingers. They sport a mane of whitish-brown feathers across the upper chest, neck, and head that trails off in a large plume towards the back of their form, with a more humanoid-looking mouth and beak, bluish-green eyes with yellow sclera, and a red V-shaped crest that extends from their nose towards their face and the top of their head. In addition, it is noted that these beasts have access to a Mega Evolved form, and in this state, their bodies change color to feature orange and black feathers and a semi-striped, flame-like pattern across their body, with their mane and feathers having changed shape to form a V-shaped form both down their chest and up away from their head, their face crest further converting into a more horn-like shape on their forehead, each of their wrists becoming engulfed in a pair of fire streams.
While these beasts at a young age contain combustion organs like many other Fire-type Pokemon, they are slightly different in that they not only have a skewed gender ratio of 1 to 8 in favor of males, but, more importantly, their combustion organs automatically produce a constant flame within a special sac in the bodies connected directly to the respiratory systems.
This has the effect of allowing Torchic and its evolutions to inhale pure oxygen into their systems and therefore their organic combustion chamber, drastically increasing the intensity of their fire-type attacks. In addition, this allows Torchic in particular to spew bursts of fire in the form of powerful fireballs, each approaching a temperature of around 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, instead of a simple stream of fire. While this prevents Torchic from learning the potent flamethrower attack for a long time, far past the normal point of evolution in fact, it grants them an advantage early on by giving them the chance to not only use their Ember attack in rapid-fire fashion, but also to adjust their aim if they miss the first time. This flame is not completely hidden from notice though, as it makes Torchic about as warm to the touch as a hot water bottle, in turn making them one of the best Pokemon to have around if you are cold or like to give hugs, especially since their fluffy down is exceptionally fire retardant and can resist being burned even at temperatures as high as 2500 degrees Fahrenheit. While they still possess many of the traits that were likely present among their avian ancestors, such as the ability to freely wield fire within the confines of special attacks, their evolution into Combusken all but eliminates this ability in favor of traits better suited for survival in a terrestrial environment, namely physical attacks. Although they cannot specifically use any type of martial art until they reach adulthood, Combusken can still attack with physical prowess far unlike what Torchic are capable of, and after much debate and discussion, have officially been declared to be partial fighting types alongside their evolved form, Blaziken. This decision was reached not only on the basis of the physical combat skill and mastery over basic fighting type moves like Bulk Up and Double Kick, the latter of which they learn immediately after evolving, as well as Sky Uppercut after evolving into Blaziken, but also from the otherwise abnormal fact that they are vulnerable to flying type attacks. The exact reasoning behind this is still under investigation.
Despite this, with a bit of artificial help, these beasts can get access to a powerful flamethrower attack that only Torchic are normally able to learn naturally. Plus, they gain access to the powerful Blaze Kick attack late in life, so they can more than make up for any weaknesses they gain in evolution.
While most fully evolved Fire-type starter Pokemon display the flames responsible for their powers outside of their bodies, Blaziken still retain the traits of their pre-evolved forms in that their flames are situated within an internal combustion chamber. The main difference between them, however, is that this flame is not designed to come out of the mouths of Blaziken, but their wrists and ankles. Despite their appearance, Blaziken are exceptionally gifted martial artists and specialize primarily in combat styles that take full advantage of their hands and feet. The flames that sprout from their wrists cling to the slightly oily scales on their arms and effectively envelop their knuckles, allowing them to deliver devastating fire punch attacks capable of scorching skin and roasting weak armor with ease. Interestingly enough, the intensity of the fire that sprouts from the wrists is dependent upon the amount of adrenaline within their systems, but in the reverse fashion present in Combusken. In other words, since they use their fire as their primary weapon in battle, the intensity of the fire increases as the amount of adrenaline pumping through their blood increases as well, especially when they are faced with an exceptionally difficult opponent. Despite their lightweight, Blaziken are exceptionally courageous in battle, and will gladly strike full force at any and all opponents, no matter how uneven the odds may be. Aside from their fire punch attack, Blaziken are also able to utilize the powerful Sky Uppercut attack as already mentioned, a move that proves to be particularly useful when fighting flying types in close quarters.
As a consequence of their link to their natural fiery powers, these beasts can have access to Blaze as their only base ability, but those that are able to use their internal heat to accelerate their body movements can also have access to Speed Boost as a hidden ability.
As far as the stats are concerned in the case of Blaziken, these beasts are not exactly built to be able to sustain much in the way of serious damage, and don't have a ton of stamina or exceptional agility to them, so most of their base stats are below average for a fully evolved fire and fighting type Pokemon. However, they do still excel at being able to deal serious damage against anything that dares to tussle with them, their base attack and special attack stats being above average for fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, thus still rendering them formidable foes to have to face in combat.
While they have some advantages over other young fire-type Pokemon, Torchic do have some drawbacks, most of them being a product of the genetically recent adaptation to terrestrial life.
Although they can learn decent flying type attacks like Aerial Ace and Bounce, Torchic and their evolutions are completely flightless and are incapable of aerial transport, making them a prime target for ground predators. They also have surprisingly poor night vision and literally cannot see much of anything at night, forcing them to use their own fire type attacks to light up the area around them, which in and of itself is a dangerous thing to do in the grassy fields they often call home. Most importantly though, Torchic are somewhat insecure, easily startled, and tend to react to surprises by suddenly blasting whatever's around them with fireballs, 3 issues that obviously do not sit together well. Until they evolve, Torchic are exceptionally vulnerable to attack and are normally unwilling to defend themselves against most assaults from creatures more than a foot larger than themselves, instead preferring to cower in fear or run away, and making them somewhat difficult for beginning trainers to easily adapt to and battle with. Nonetheless, these birds are quite friendly and will gladly bond with just about anyone, closely following them as fast as they can with their otherwise unsteady stride. Combusken generally use their legs alone as their primary means of offense in battle, and constantly run through fields and mountains every day in order to stay in top form. Although they are not incredibly muscular, Combusken more than make up for their slight lack in strength with speed and are able to dole out an average of about 10 kicks per second, which appears nothing more than a blur to the naked eye. If they cannot get a clear shot at the opposition, Combusken will use whatever projectile power they have to spew fireball ember attacks from afar in the hopes of distracting the opposition long enough for them to locate a vulnerable spot. These flames also increase in intensity as time progresses through a battle, as the combustion organs of Combusken are inversely influenced by the amount of adrenaline running through their systems. The less adrenaline and the more tired they are, the stronger their fires burn to compensate. If both of these tactics fail, Combusken have one final tool that can be used to both distract and potentially damage the opposition, an exceptionally sharp cry. While generally not so useful against opponents that either have no ears or are otherwise deaf, a full-strength screech from one of these birds is usually enough to cause a very potent acute distraction, granting them more than enough time to run in for a powerful double-kick attack.
What makes Blaziken dangerous compared to similar fire-type Pokemon, aside from the above and the access to a close combat attack immediately after evolving, as well as a Brave Bird attack with a bit of artificial help, is the devastatingly destructive Blaze Kick attack that they and their pre-evolved form Combusken are so well known for.
Although Hitmonlee can also learn the attack naturally, the Blaze Kick attack is primarily designed for use by Blaziken and serves as a potent signature of the destruction they are capable of. By releasing fire from near the ankle bones, which in turn sticks to the outside of their slightly oily scales, Blaziken are able to literally light their feet on fire. The leaping kick that falls is not only exceptionally powerful, but also has a high chance for scoring a critical hit, a 10% chance of inflicting a burn, and requires very little vertical movement to execute. While the short distance execution of the attack makes its base power and accuracy rate a bit lower than a normal jump kick attack, it also ensures the attack delivers no recoil damage if it misses and can easily be repeated again and again until it finally hits. This alone is impressive, but it is made even more so by the incredible leg strength of Blaziken. A single Blaziken can actually leap over 30 stories in a single jump thanks to the elastic knee joints holding their leg bones together, and this can be seen readily in combat with the proficient use of attacks like Bounce, Brave Bird, and Flare Blitz. It should be duly noted, however, that Blaziken are not always immune to their own attacks, as they burn off their feathers on an annual basis before growing a new set within the span of a few hours. Within that time, Blaziken are vulnerable to their own flames, and must avoid battling to prevent burning their otherwise flammable skin.
It is lastly noted that Blaziken is one of only a select number of Pokemon known to be capable of undergoing the process of Mega Evolution.
With a held Blazikenite in hand, Mega Evolution does not cause these creatures to really grow any larger than before, or even increase the overall mass of their body. What it does do, however, is change the physical form slightly and making them more streamlined and better adapted for close quarters combat. Aesthetic differences aside, the streamlining of these creatures' bodies enables them to better direct the flow of heat energy in the body from their torso to the limbs, increasing the destructive power of their wrist flames to the point of creating semi-permanent ribbon-like streams of fire that constantly erupt from their wrists, making it an extremely bad idea to really get close to them. In addition, the muscle movements of these beasts are refined considerably, allowing them to swap out their normally brutal attacks for more fluid-flowing ones that not only deal more damage overall, but enable them to take falls and direct hits at least a little bit better than normal. In terms of stats, this streamlining effect slightly increases Mega Blaziken's base defense and special defense stats, moderately increases their base special attack and speed stats, and critically increases their base attack stat. In turn, they gain the highest base attack stat out of all non-legendary Fire-type Pokémon, and the highest base stat total out of all non-legendary Fighting-type Pokémon. Moreover, by making their bodies more streamlined, Mega Blaziken are able to accelerate their body movements much more effectively than normal, in turn allowing them to build up a considerable amount of momentum in battle and essentially granting them access to the Speed Boost ability. Mega Blaziken may be considerably rare to see in battle, but for those that have access to their power, it can only be said that these beasts are truly among the most powerful birds and can easily reduce even the swiftest of fighters to ash if they underestimate their abilities.
These birds certainly do start out as cute little bundles of fun and joy, and usually only gets better from there once you can really get to know them and their powers. Torchic can be a bit of a bumbling wreck whenever they get really panicked and scared, but they're also so warm and fun to hug, so patience is honestly the biggest twist when it comes to getting these little chicks up to speed. Combusken more than show their fearsome fighting attributes when confronted in any battle, and can in turn prove to be quite useful to work with, even if they might be pretty limited in the types of new offense they can learn before evolution. Blaziken are without a doubt the pinnacle of their family in all of this, and more than show their capacity to be a terrible threat, courtesy of their powerful punches and kicks, and overall capacity to demolish anything they can either resist their attacks or beat them to the punch. This makes them impressive fighters to be sure, and this is made only more so once they manage to Mega Evolve, as while not a great deal of change might come over them in this state, the capacity to permanently have access to the Speed Boost ability and enhanced fighting attributes makes them a serious threat to contend with in a lot of cases. As a whole, while it may take some time to get these beasts the best moves they can learn, they are more than worth it, and really help to bring a ton of heat to any physical confrontation they get into.
Though they might not seem like they have the potential for much at a young age, the members of the Torchic family are powerful avians that can make short work of anything that can't withstand their fiery powers. You may have to go out of your way to even find one, but with the roaring flames that erupt from their body in the heat of battle, you can be sure they can be worth the hassle in the end.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you train them to keep their flames in check when they're outside of battle. Otherwise, you might find the flaming wrists and ankles of the fully evolved form a bit too hot to handle when you decide to engage in any sort of wrestling or other close-quarters sparring event.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.